Good evening, Alex Hansery here. We're going to be talking tonight about medical malpractice, and we're going to be transcending one topic, and we're going to be discussing dental and medical. Not so much the recent health event, although that's what a lot of you are talking about, but really, medical malpractice is really intense right now in America when it comes to the world of psychiatry and regular modern medicine and dental, right? So there's a lot of malpractice going on, and it's a very unjust society. So this is it. This is what you need to know. We are a reality. We are living in a reality where it is legal, okay, for companies, organizations, whatever we want to call them, dental schools, to straight up rob you. And that is, it is illegal to walk up to somebody and go, give me all your money. But they've got it set up now with these schools for the indigent people where you sign a waiver where at any point they can get rid of you. So you have to kiss their ass. You can't complain about anything. If you talk like this and you have a certain tone, like I said to a person on the phone last week, that going to that school was the worst decision of my life ever. There was a lot of money spent, and they'll hear that criticism and they'll judge me. They'll conspire with me, those wicked women behind the scenes, thinking that it's okay to rob me with no compassion that I'm broke, with no compassion. And I'll say that I fight human trafficking. I'll say that I have a YouTube channel. I'll say, look me up on the internet. And they'll look me up on the internet and go, oh my God, this is a horrible person. Ban him now. They looked me up probably. These people locally are fucking demons. And I can't confirm anyone is good here. Not one. I'm sorry. Now, I like going to one guy's vape shop and going, hey, bro, but in the end, I can't really call you good unless you're going to help me do some of this stuff. And he agreed. He agreed he's not really good. He's just being friendly to me so he can sell me more vape. So we could stay in a zombie trance. But I don't want to be a zombie with the vape. I like being a real person. But see, I live in a world where this robbery of us is happening. So we could talk about the banking. We could talk about the robbery taking place with regards to finances, the national debt. But I really want to talk about the robbery when it comes to the medical field. Now, when it comes to dental, in this society with sugar and everything, we should have dental to prevent decay, period. And I don't have regular dental, and I got to go into the ghetto to get a tooth cleaning in the future if it happens. My teeth are not doing good. Okay, and I have a questionable future with regards to that. I need to do some more. I need to do the best that I can to do it yourself. And as I grow older, I want to make more content for keeping yourself fit and healthy and avoiding the hospital. Because this was a hard lesson for me to learn. And it's not just avoiding the hospital, it's avoiding the pharmaceuticals. It's like too late for me to go back and fix the problems. But I don't want to continue. And I want to tell you something about my mom. Now, I asked her years ago to tell me about her spirituality, to tell me about her life, to tell me positive things about herself. Same thing with my dad. Hey, dad, if you went over there in Afghanistan with the military as a translator and you were saving, children from burning buildings, you have some heroic stories to tell me, by all means, here's a pen. Start writing, tough guy. I'm sorry, what? You've got nothing to say. Exactly. So she came into my life in 2022 only to drop some money in my lap with a really crazed stare in her eyes. Oh, you gotta get an implant. What? You gotta get an implant. And then just starting to feed my mind full of this dark dystopian future of massive implant after implant after implant after implant in the mouth. With what money again? Oh, you have to do it. What the hell? And where did you get all your money for all your implants? This lady spent an unknown amount of money from God knows where she got it on bad dental care. And so there are people in this society that are possessed by bad medical information, and they spread it like an STD. They spread it like HPV, right? You want to check that shit out. You want to kick that shit down the drain. Don't try to involve me in that nastiness. And so we have broken people that, like my mother, try to teach me sugar addiction from day one, but never she wanted to cook. But we'll go down to that market, get ourselves some candy, but she never wanted to fucking cook. Of course I'm going to grow up and have fucking cavities because I wasn't taught right. So her main concern was you have to get this dental thing, and 2.5 years was spent of my time at the dental school. We're talking 6, 7, 8 visits for cleanings, one conduit, one visit, and each time I'm driving, we're talking 30 minutes one way, 30 minutes together. So we're talking a long distance to the dental school. Okay. So we're talking about situations where there are many, many visits, many, many exams because it's about the students learning. So you go through a couple students, and then I got a really arrogant one who was a real dick. Not all white people are like that. But in this particular demographic, in certain schools, you have some young people or Asian kids or in general, right, that don't know what it's like to suffer, that don't know what it's like to be poor. And then you have a lot of people that claim to be Christian, but don't know about the reality of demons, right? So they don't understand the idea of interference. And so it's interesting that we started with my mom, right? You've got to, do this. And someone else was like, no, 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 that's not true. Dentures is the way. And then my mom, she was all about vanity, but what would people think if you're missing a tooth? The tooth is way back there. What the fuck? You don't want to be spending about an implant on a tooth way back there when it's not a big deal. And now there's no crown going in. It's just wasted money, like thousands and thousands of dollars. Where if it was proper advice from the beginning, it would have been, for example, what we call one of those sliding scale, where you do the cleaning and it's what you can afford, not as much money as possible. And so what we have here is bad information, where if you don't have the right medical information to know where to go, you can end up spending and spending and spending. And so it's wicked for women in the medical field, and we're going to talk more, to engage in theft. Because how do the women that robbed me, they went, we took his money, and then we told him he's so bad and talked shit to him the whole fucking time. And this is in line with Solar Maximum. There are women out there, unfortunately, that are doing horrible things, that are trying to create domestic terrorism. Do you know what I'm talking about by chance? Or a guy grabbing a gun and going postal. There are women out there whose sole mission it is to get women and men, but men in particular, to go shoot people. In particular, them, because they have a death wish. There's a shitload of women right now with a death wish. They don't want a good man. They're talking shit when they should keep their mouth shut, right? They're fucking with the wrong men on top of it. And there's someone that got my attention that was trolling me once on this channel, who has a channel promoting the death of men. Not recognizing the men that want to stop rape and human trafficking, but actually calling for the murder of men, pretending to be a victim, but calling for the murder of men. And YouTube is facilitating that, yet all they do is call for the murder of YouTube CEOs on YouTube comment sections, yet they think they're being victimized. And so I told you a long time ago, the devil's program is man versus woman, woman versus man. And so you have women that are damaged in positions of power, that don't have any empathy for poor men or people that are good. In fact, they hear about someone good, they look them up and go, rob that guy, rob that guy, rob that guy. And that was my mistake, telling someone, the operator, look me up, I'm a good person, I don't deserve to be harmed this way. Oh, yes, you do. So there really is a demonic, archonic possession over a lot of people in the medical industry, not just law enforcement, but law enforcement, medical industry. And I don't want to talk about him much. He's moved on with his life. But the guy that was stalking me for a while at one point was involved in the medical industry and wore it with a badge and talked about how his training manipulated his mind. You're a schizophrenic, I have training. You're a schizophrenic, I have EMT. You're like, what the fuck? There are many deranged EMTs that have killed people, that have raped their patients. EMTs. That's no badge of, I'm perfectly perfect. And so the medical industry does seem to have an influence of possession. And he was saying privately, I'm not saying who, that he dealt with something called the thing, like an entity. And so he basically was saying that he had an entity issue, and he realized it, and we knew it the whole time. If someone's fixated on me on a cell phone at a hospital where there's entities, there could be a overshadowing. And so I now know I've been attacked, and in places where there's entities, where there is a mental hospital, intake, those types of places, where it's worse than jail. That place was worse than jail in Portland. That place they put me in for 9 days in July this year was worse than a Portland jail. The Portland jail had way more security and way more peace and way more Zen energy and no forced drugging. The Portland jail would allow you a Bible study, an AA class, and peace of mind in your own jail cell to shadow box, and you'd be allowed to sleep in a Portland jail in 2000. But in a mental facility in 2024, they're trying to get you to kill yourself later on, to really become suicidal. And so what's happening here at this dental school is they have armed security that they called on me, by the way, 6 months ago when my blood pressure was high. And I was trying to tell George Norrie the story, and he didn't get it. He's like, how high was your blood pressure? Dude, you're not getting it. It wasn't that high. Okay? What they were was over-responding. By the way, you can use the hearts. You can engage here. And you can engage here on the side here. And you can go heart, 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 love, 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 love. Here, sending you love now. Sending the audience love now. Love you, love you, love you. We got that sunset coming. And so basically, if you have people that are getting dopamine hits from robbing people, but they're not actually getting a commission from the sales, that's demonic. If they're literally going, we just took this poor guy's $1,000, high five, that's cruel, man. And so, like, that's against the law in the United States. And so we can cry and go, oh my God, that's so sad when we see horrible things happening to women, but we don't always know why certain things happen. Okay? But I will tell you this, karmically, for them robbing me, nothing good will happen to that woman and the men and the organization, the people that decided to rob me. Okay? They'll be walking down the street one day, and they might face an ambush. They might be robbed themselves. Okay? Robbing someone just to rob them because you don't have no. So we will think about this right now for 5 minutes. The people that robbed my poor ass of $1,000, they're going to know what it's like to be robbed. They're going to know what it's like to have their purse taken from their hands and thrown on the ground, and worse. They're going to know what it's like to be crying out for help for God. They're going to know what it's like. So there are people out there that have been mind controlled to like go after men, rob them, hurt them because of some patriarchy bullshit. They're on a highway to hell. I'm going to let it go. But like, if I was a bad person, okay, I know exactly where to go and I know exactly what I would do. Okay. And so when you do that stuff during Solar Maximum as a crazy woman, you're showing that you're a demon and shit, that you're trying to get a man to grab a Glock and take action. That's why they have security. That's why modern psychiatrists, they don't have them meet you in person. They meet you behind a screen because they're scared little cowards who carry 9mm like that Muslim piece of shit who should be deported back to Pakistan, who try to kill my ass and give me fatty liver disease, piece of shit. Then they try to tell me fatty liver disease is normal. They're pieces of shit. Now let's move on. Some of these fuckers are nymphomaniacs who you shouldn't fuck. There was one woman I was fucking who worked in a hospital in 2009. She would buy me gifts and buy me presents to gain favor with me. She was a drunk and a cokehead. Okay. So she liked it wild and adventurous in bed. It's nasty as fuck, man. You can't be having like little goblins like schlobbing your knob and infecting your like DNA. That's exactly what she was there for. Fake ass Christian. What was her job? Hospital. And you know what I was seeing in spirit? She's a vampire, man. She draws blood. Of course she's going to be wanting to suck my dick and swallow. Let's move on. Another bitch. Pagosa Springs, Colorado. I talked to her about maybe we're going to hang out. She's obsessed by the fact that I'm older than her by a few years. She's like, how old are you again? She said she wanted to meet a man of consciousness when she was on Facebook when I found her. Then I start talking to her. She's like, how old are you again? She's another carnal whore who works. So a lot of these women that were, and other women, like you try to tell them what you're doing is wrong. You didn't fulfill the task. They're here being critical. They lie to their boss. They say, he cursed. Then you're asked out and you're excommunicated. And so you have demon women that are capable of murder, that are in control of the red buttons in the medical industry. Okay. In the end, they're serving demons. It's not a man in control. It's not a white man in control. Even if you see a white man in control, in the end, it's Satan. And so what you have here is a reality in war. I do see patterns in the news with regards to certain things. One of the stories of that we talked about where a woman was knocked to the ground by a guy who had an object. The woman worked for the city in a higher up position. Well, what does the city do? Robs people blind. So if you are involved in a nefarious mafiosa type position, it's not right for anybody to hit you, but it's not going to bring you good luck. It's going to bring you demons if you're in a demon building and you're robbing people by the millions. A little old secretary doing paperwork for that, especially if she sins, she might bring trouble to herself. Another situation, we have a story where a guy, he steps in, he's a corrections guard, he steps in to save a white girl from being beat up by a black guy. I asked the pendulum though, because he got shot, did he as a corrections guard allow some guy to get raped on purpose? Pendulum says yes. No guarantee the pendulum's right, but what if it is? There are reasons why something's happened. At the same time, you can also have innocent people that are punched. I've been punched many times in this lifetime, and you can have psychopaths like my mother just assume that it's my karma without showing compassion. I don't want anything bad to happen to her. I don't want anything bad to happen to others that I've known in Portland. And then at the same time, people out there that I know have turned to the dark side. I don't want to pray for them and want to just leave it in God's hands. I don't want innocent people, rather people that are guilty. I don't want guilty people ultimately to get away with all their sins, especially when they allow people to die. It's not nature's way. It's hard for people to hear this, but this is a classroom and I've had to learn hard lessons. The fact that I was born in this body is an example of that. Okay, period. So I want to wrap things up. I don't know how long we can go with this. In this world now, you need to know how to do it yourself. With the shit hitting the fan at some point, you need to know how to do emergency dental. You need to know what to do for pain. You need to know how to deal with naturopathic solutions to certain issues. With regards to the vax, having a fundamentalist belief that everyone that took the vax is dying or is going to die, is crying wolf or should die. And there are many people out there that involve themselves in conspiracy research that don't work out, that are not healthy, that don't go camping, that don't sun gaze. They only gaze without blue light glasses into the screen, deeper and deeper into the trance. Okay. So the future of the world is possibly inmates being kept alive with powerful technologies, right, that aren't yet being rolled out. But this world is going to be a technological nightmare. And yeah, there's a lot of bad energy in that building. And what I may do at some point is megaphone, but really we're really dealing with an overall construct, an archonic construct, which isn't going to be confronted through one building, one phone call, one organization. As I said, we see it through the mental health system and the pushing of drugs and poor quality therapy, where the therapists don't know about moon cycles, solar cycles, and they don't believe in being aware of the news. And it's just so frustrating to be around really stupid people. I guess in the modern day and age, with deranged women that want to be like fondled verbally on the telephone and never scolded for not doing their job, we men have to basically kiss their feet, compliment them, grovel, right? When they are in control of the needle. Okay. But $1,000 taken from me is no small fee. No black man, no thug, nobody in the streets ever robbed me of $1,000 and more. And much more of that was taken. This is sanctioned. This is sanctioned theft. This is sanctioned by the state. There's nothing I can do about it. And this is the type of stuff that leads to people freaking out and losing their shit. What am I doing? Am I going marching down there, driving down there? Am I calling them? No. I just feel a punch in the stomach as I feel that $1,000 ripped out of me in a day and age where people don't want to friggin' donate anymore. And it's crazy because costs are going up, costs aren't going down, yet donations have ceased. And so, like, my value to you is unfortunately being rendered useless in this new. Actually, somebody sent me an email saying maybe you should get a job. Maybe you should find a channel, or maybe somebody wants to hear your bullshit. Anyway, talk to you next time. You guys in Oregon that are still having jobs doing microbrews, you guys are a real piece of work.